Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah. Thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He is something else, eh, pals? Yeah, he's definitely something. He is something else. I won't lie. Detective Gershom. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah. Sorry about that. There's nothing to be sorry about. It's not gonna end here. You are gonna get your job back. We'll make sure of that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. You do? At your office? What? My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-notch girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Well, that's a new one. Gumshoe helping us in the trials? I'm quite happy with that, actually. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again! How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? What? Emma, are you okay? You had me worried there. Are you feeling alright?
Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved? Relieved?
Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all, just to protect me.
That is true, Emma. That is true. Although, are you feeling alright about the whole... you killed Neil Marshall by accident? I mean, it is what it is. It was an accident. You didn't know. You thought it was actually Joe Dark that you pushed. You didn't even know that you actually killed someone at that point. So, you really shouldn't feel guilty about it. And I hope that you don't. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. And that must be why she became so cold.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Yeah, you know what? He's damn right. Fuck society. Fuck the law and its crook people. Criminal prosecutors, criminal police chiefs, organizations ready to fuck with everything. It's all the organizations. It's all like the government and such.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he cannot fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why need you wait to...
No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth.
And I'm totally behind that notion. Yeah, gonna be of great help to us in this. Especially when confronting Lana. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. February 25, 2:21 p.m. District Court. Courtroom number 9. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you are aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course. The truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. Alright. Something tells me that this will be another uphill battle to make Lana tell us the full truth. Please, Lana, I know that Emma is at stake here, but trust me when I say that if Gant escapes this, the outcome is gonna be much worse in the long run. And I think that you know that as well. I mean, that is the reason why you even gave us this thing over here, which we haven't used yet. You are thinking that this is gonna be our ultimate weapon that is gonna be Damon Gant's fall. This evidence logbook of some sorts. That if we are to have a chance at taking Damon Gant down, we're gonna have to use this, which we haven't until now. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Alrighty then, Lana Sky, let's begin.
I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana!
If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
But what if she's telling the truth?
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah. This is no time to start second-guessing myself. You're damn right, Phoenix! Let's do this! The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Alright. Let's see. Our final testimony is over here. This is our last shot.
I worked alongside Gant for years.
How many years exactly?
Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that will be 5 years.
Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. Must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. It must have been a pretty darn good school. Mia was a good prosecutor.
Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why there's no truth to this blackmail theory.
But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail!
You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip.
So we need proof for that.
I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself.
Did you do so to help your sister?
Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life.
But what you did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything.
That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana.
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago?
When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene.
You say you did this all by yourself?
Yes.
Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
Since I was the first person to discover the scene, the broken prosecutor ward knife was stuck in the victim's body.
What? You mean to say that is how you found him? In that position? What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. Yeah, that is what we have established before.
And that's only a situation you dreamed was possible.
So in other words, you're still denying that your sister accidentally killed him. For her sake.
The reality is, it was my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this testimony.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me.
So when you found a scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body.
You planted the tip of Dark's knife at the victims and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad. Maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why did you plant the knife? That is what I'm interested in the most. But why did you do that?
Come on now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out.
Very well. let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated a knife. Yes. Thank you for that. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes. Eliminating it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound? Yes. Because I hated Dark for what he did. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? Oh, Lana.
She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened.
In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions.
Mr. Wright, my sister's lying.
Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she prefabricated the evidence by herself.
There's no way she could have done it alone.
I have to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Huh. I wonder. Actually, let me see this again. I think I missed something in particular over here, and I want to see it again. She's definitely lying, but I do have to wonder. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. But I do have to ask myself, what about the jar? Cause Damon Gant took a piece from the jar and hid it in his safe. She says that she forged it all by herself, and yet she's not telling us about the missing piece of the jar. Okay, well, let's see. Let me see about presenting this. About presenting the jar right over here. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Huh? Really? Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright. Ugh. Oops. That didn't go so well. Actually, hold on a second. There is something else that we probably should check. Like, where was it exactly? Like, right over here. There was also that other question about moving the body, outside of just planting the knife. Maybe there's something there that I'm missing as well, and I probably shouldn't miss it. Alright, tell us, why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk.
But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
The pieces of the jar that shattered during the evidence threatened my plan.
Ah, hold on a second. I think we got something over here. Pieces of the jar? You mean...
Yes, that wretched jar Mr. Wright showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body.
So, when you first found the body, the jar was already...
Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it will be clear right away what happened.
Huh. So you're saying that it was found broken when you got there? I don't buy it.
Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle.
I see. What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that.
Yeah, same here. It has to do with the message on the jar. There must be a contradiction here somewhere.
Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
Maybe now I can present this jar over here. The final fragment that was found in the Chief Gant safe. Hopefully. Ah, there you go. You know, I'm using game logic over here. Whenever the song stops, that means that I got it correct. I mean, I noticed that a long time ago, but I never really wanted to say that. I just it breaks the immersion a little bit. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? Well, actually, I don't think that is always the case. Like, there are set points. There are like at some points when the song stops. When we presented the wrong evidence. But I don't think it. I don't think it really was right when Phoenix yelled objection. Like when he yells objection, the music stops, and that almost always means that I got it right. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony.
A contradiction in my testimony?
Exactly. Now remember, there was something written on the jar with blood. You also had Emma who fell unconscious after the fight, and Joe Dark who hit his head and fell unconscious too. And, well, after all that, there was only one person who would manage to write the message. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the evidence threatened my plan.
That's right.
Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight reading. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood.
Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Indeed. Not to mention that if the jar broke, then his message would be lost. Which is something that he did not want to happen. In other words, he would have no reason to break the jar to begin with. He would have left it alone. And even if, even if you were to piece things together, there's no reason for him to do that. To break the jar as well after he wrote that message, there is no reason. However, somebody else will definitely have a reason to break it, if it means protecting someone that they love. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar! Order! Order! Yara, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar, and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we are headed.
What?
And just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and message in blood.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You mean you were the one who wiped away this message in blood?
I wasn't Chief Prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Jark was the real murderer. And that's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Of course we will! Surely.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar.
So the jar was already broken?
It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier.
It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. Ouch. Hot damn. But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You're a nice detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces?
Normally, I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out.
So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar?
No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust.
Oh, that helps my case. Oh, luckily she didn't. And she would totally be able to destroy that jar all the way to dust. With her heels, for sure.
Lana, you do that for me?
Seems you tone my makeup yet.
Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was.
If someone happened upon the scene, you lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry.
I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came.
This is rather shocking.
To be safe,
I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this section of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? You know, you did ask that question quite a lot today, Judge. But maybe I'm saying this because this particular day of trial has been lasting for quite a while. But you certainly asked that question quite a lot today, Judge. Which is understandable, I guess. If you really thought Dart killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. Are you sure about that? But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me.
Even I carry my bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go.
Good for you, Emma!
I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
So you illegally rearranged the crime scene?
Yes. I don't have any excuses for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time.
It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we got into the bottom of this incident. You have all the time in the world to make up for this. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office.
More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony.
Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Well then, you're saying that you're sure that you got them all. But what about the final fragment that was found in Chief Gant's safe? Once again, presenting this to evidence like once again. Like, I am not really surprised that you do have to present the same evidence like twice in a row. I'm not really surprised about that like at all, given how Ace Attorney is. It is quite unpredictable at times. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you weren't aware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. And it had blood on it still intact. Which means you didn't get all of them. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece of it and wiped away the blood of them. And she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which is us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Yeah, that's true. That would be the explanation. Chief Gant got there before you! But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone a nice detective. Yeah, not to mention that she had the light and the camera. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? Yeah, I can totally believe that. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the drawer was already broken. Oh, that. Huh. So it was Damon Gant who broke it. And also took the last piece, so that the message would disappear. Which could mean... Yes, this is it! This is what we needed in order to tie Chief Gant to the SL9 case. That he falsified the evidence in that case too! There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Thank God. I thought I was gonna lose you for a second there, Judge. In a world so corrupt like this, we need clean people like you. I love you, Judge.